Okay, good morning. So we're finishing off the halachas of the ner of Havdala, the candle used for Havdala. And what we'll discuss today, in Mitzvah Hashem, is talking about a ner back in the day, a lamp, a lantern in a shul, whether you can use that. Because the point is, it's got to be done la'oroi, and not for any other reason. It's got to be done for illumination. And therefore the question is whether we can, a ner in a shul is good enough. And also we'll discuss a blind person, whether a blind person can make the broch on a candle for Havdala. Okay, so let's see. Sif Yud Aleph. That's where we're up to. Reish Ches Tzadi, Sif Yud Aleph. Ner Beis HaKnesses. Im Yesham Odom Choshev Mevarchin Alav. If there is an important person there, then you can make the broch on that candle. Im lav, but if there's no Odom Choshev there, ein mevarchin olav. V'yesh omen behepach, and some say it's the opposite. So what's pshat? What's going on? Says the Mishnah Berurah Chof Ches, ner beis hakneses shel beis hamedrash shebiyomenu. V'ner shel beis hamedrash biyomenu. Mistaber de tolu lefi hamakom. It depends on the place, on the situation. Im loim dimsham. If people learn there, then people, then the light is there for illumination, which is good news. Therefore, you can use it for Havdala. Because an Odom Choshev is there, so you turn the lights on for him, and you put the candle there for his light. And if there's no Odom Choshev there, then the reason why there's a light there is just for the cover of the Shechina and not laha'ir, and therefore that will be a problem. And the others say no, the Svar is exactly the opposite. If there is a dignitary there, an Odom Choshev, it's for his honor, not for illumination. And if there's no Odom Choshev there, then it's laha'ir, then it's for illumination. And the nase laha'ir. If, however, either way, whatever side you take, you extinguish the light and then you relight it for Havdala purposes, then vaday shari lekula alma b'chol inyan. Then there's no question whatsoever. Issa b'beis Yosef. The minhag is you light a candle specially for Havdala. And therefore, if you're doing it in order to honor the guests who's staying with you, then you cannot use that candle for Havdala. So if you look at, so what about nowadays? So if you look at 23, he says, "The nearest Havdala bizmanenu she'in madlikin som kadei lahai ela rak l'tzarech habracha." We light our Havdala candles to make the bracha, to do Havdala. We don't do it for illumination, and therefore, Kosov Aruch HaShulchan shekiven she'in madlikin som ela b'shas Havdala l'tzarech mitzvah muchash l'tzarech eiram esim came. We're doing it clearly for the and therefore it's okay. All right, let's carry on. We're in the middle of Sif Yud Aleph. If there is a shamash in the shul who's sitting in the Beis HaKnesses and you've got a light there for him, then you can make a bracha on that light. That's so long as there is not no one is sort of using the moonlight is very strong, because otherwise they wouldn't bother putting the lights on and they would use the moonlight. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sivkot and Lamed Varchin Olav she'asu lahayel achilasei. The shamash who lives in the shul or eats or stays a lot of time in the shul, they put the lights on so that he can eat, and therefore they're doing it lahayir, and therefore you could use this light for Havdala. We're talking about a situation, you can't be eating in a shul. Who eats in a Beis HaKnesses, right? The halachas of a Beis HaKnesses, nowadays we do it al Tanai, there's a Beis HaMedrash, and but in a pure Beis HaKnesses situation, you shouldn't be eating in the shul. So therefore you've got to be saying that we're talking about a shamash who's eating in the adjacent room, and there are lights coming through from the shul to help him see and to eat. The Beis HaKnesses also lechol, you can't eat in a shul. Kamesh Kaz b'Siman Kuf and an Aleph. Issa b'Rosh. Nowadays we don't make a bracha for Havdala purposes on the ner of a shul. Nowadays the lights, the candles in the shul is really lekovad and not lahayir, and therefore that's not good enough for Havdala. Shari dolkin aneres af b'yom. The proof is that you put the lights on during the day, the candles are on during the day, and therefore it's not for illumination, it must be lekovad, and therefore that's not good enough for Havdala purposes. And especially if you light candles in front of the Omid, where the chazan is davening, that's only covered to sort of give cover to the situation, to the shul. But individual lanterns that people will carry around, mevarchin, you can make a bracha for Havdala on that. For kama anoshim, a lot of people slip up on this. They take the ner which is there for on the omud, which is covered, they use that for Havdala, and that is not good enough. But if they sort of join, wicks together to make an avuka, a torch, that maybe you should be makbid on that. That lechera would be okay. V'nira poshet ner yotzeit in levarach. If it's a yotzeit candle, you should not make havdalah on that. She'ina also lahayr, because again, that yotzeit candle is not there for illumination, and therefore ve'in noch nasas kain, and therefore you shouldn't be using it for havdalah. V'ulai kasheroitz letzaref men avuka in hakvid. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I think I've jumped the line. V'nira poshet da ner yotzeit in levarach. She'ina also lahayr rak lezeichen nishmas hameis. Okay. Because if there's a strong light from the moon, then the shamash doesn't need the candle, and therefore that wouldn't be good enough to use for Havdalah. Okay, that's Yudalef. So again, what emerges from Yudalef is that you can only use a candle for Havdalah if it's laha'ir, if that candle is there to illuminate and not lekovad or leyartzait or lemeis or something else. Now, and therefore, Yud Beis follows on from that and says, Einu mevarchin al ner shel meisim. You can't make a bracha for Havdalah, use a Havdalah candle with a candle that was used lemeisim, lekovet hameis, she'ena osu laha'ir, because it's not there for illumination. Hilkach meis, shoy mahalchin lefon of ner, ilu hatzir b'yoyim, if they would take him out at daytime, for hatzir b'layla ner, einu mevarchin olav, because clearly that light is there, lekovet, and not laha'ir. Says the Mishnah Berurah, she'ena osu laha'ir, v'rak she'malikin osu lekovet hameis, because they would use this candle even in daytime. So you see, therefore, that this light is covered. Even though at night it would help you, it does illuminate, but it was clearly there covered. If they light candles for a choson, again, that's covered, and therefore you cannot use those candles for Havdalah. Okay, Yud Gimel. Summa einay mevarich. A blind person does not make a bracha on the ner for Havdalah. Says the Mishnah Berurah, because we've said previously that there's got to be enough light that a person can distinguish between one coin and the other, and that's why we take our fingers and we go like that, and we fold them into our palm to distinguish between the nails and the palm and the skin. That's a simon that it's enough light that you could differentiate between matbe'ah and matbe'ah, between different coins. But with a blind person, sadly he cannot see, and therefore that's not appropriate. It's a question, therefore, if the blind person can be moitzi others, because he himself is part of the chol dafka, that's dafka the bracha on the candle. But of course, the rest of Havdalah, the blind person can make and can be moitzi. Now, if you look at two interesting haras, number 25 and 26. So, what is the story with a blind person and Birchas HaLevana? Because do you have to see the moon? I mean, we're waiting and waiting. I mean, this month it's been pretty cloudy. We're hoping what's the Shabbos. I checked the weather forecast, and from the weather forecast you can see whether the moon is visible or not in the BBC weather app. And so hopefully what's the Shabbos there'll be a Levana. We're running out of time, but what about a blind person? He can't see the moon. Can he make Birchas HaLevana? So if you look at 23, he says the following: that a blind person does say Birchas HaLevana even though he doesn't get the benefit from the light. There, the bracha is really on the Kiddush, the fact that the moon is visible, there's renewal, etc., etc. So we differentiate between that. V'gam if it's a very dark night and you've got a bright moon, and the other people can help the blind person because it's illuminated for them. As so then what's the difference? So in other words, you've got a kstira. In the case of Birchas HaLevana, the blind person does make the bracha because other people can benefit, and it's niskana, it was instituted for the Kiddush of the world, etc., etc. Well, why is the ner any different? It was also, instituted for the fact that fire was created on Motzei Shabbos by Odom Rishon. He made the first ever fire, and plus other people could benefit from the illumination of the Havdala candle and could help him. So why is there a difference? Why is it with the Kiddush Levana, a blind person does say it, but the Ner Havdala, a Summa Eina Mevarich? So he says, Kosav B'Bei Halacha, the B'Bei Halacha further on explains, B'Shem HaMarshal, Sheyesh Lechalek Ben Birchas HaNer, you can make it the following distinction. With the bracha of the Ner at Havdala, you need both things. You've got to be able to see it, and there's a hana. Because he can't get hana from it. There, it's really to do with the benefit that one gets from the Levana. And since it's solely to do with benefit, the blind person can get benefit from the illumination that the Levana gives to other people. That even though the Marshal concludes that a blind person does say Birchas Halavana, there are those who are cholek with him, and better for a blind person that someone should be moitzi him with Birchas Halavana. Okay, that's number 25. And 26, also very interesting. A blind person, can he be moitzi his house? So the Mishnah Berurah says that he shouldn't be moitzi other people with the bracha of the ner. What about children? So, in other words, can he be moitzi his young children? If you've got a father who's blind and he's got a wife and family, can he be moitzi them? So he says, if it's ktanim who are not, they've only got a chiyuv of chinuch, can he be moitzi them? That a blind person can be moitzi children, their chiyuv of chinuch, even though that a person who cannot smell is able to be moitzi that his children because of chinuch, and therefore, so too over here, a blind person can be moitzi his ktanim, his children, in the mitzvah of chinuch. He's going to have a problem because he's being mafsik and ber pragofen and drinking the wine with a bracha that he's not yotzi for himself. Says Rav Shlomo Zalman, that's not a problem. After mafsik ben birchas ber pragofen is dias hakos birchas mareish, that's a Rav Shlomo Zalman Arbach and Shmir Shabbos shemistabish ein bekach mishum hefsek. That's not really considered a hefsek. It's all part of the Havdala ceremony, and therefore it's okay. All right, Yudalet. Hoyu yoishvin at the Beis Hamedrash ve'viu lohem ur. They're sitting in the Beis Hamedrash, and someone brings the candle. Echot mevarich lekulam. One person can be moitzi everybody with the bracha of the ner. Says the Mishnah Berurah Lamed Hey Hoyu yoishvin Mairi shevdin mikvar. We're talking about a situation where these people have already made Havdala. But they didn't have a candle. So they all made Havdala, and then later on in the evening, in the Beis Hamedrash, someone comes across a candle. For example, they knew they weren't going to have a kais. Like we said previously, that if you know a kais is going to be coming, then just wait, and then you can do everything on together. So they're here. We're talking about a situation where they didn't have a candle, or they knew that they wouldn't have a kais, etc. Later on. Echad mevarich lekulam. V'af agav desrichen kulam nishtek v'lishma b'irchasosh v'hav a bittul Beis Hamedrash. Even though it's going to cause a bittul Beis Hamedrash, because everyone's stopping learning for that minute whilst they make the bracha. Nevertheless, v'imkeno yitov sheyivarich kol echad la'atzma. And therefore, it would have been better sheyos mevarich al echad la'atzma. Each one makes their own bracha because it's less of a bittul. Afilu hachi ha'adifa mishum b'rovam hadras melech. And still, this is better to do it b'rovam, that one bracha is made on the candle for everyone. Together. Because even if someone has already said it, it's better that he does it. It's good that he does it, and he can be moitzi everyone together because of Berevam Hadras Melech. Okay, let's just finish the Siman. Tes Vov. Ner b'toich cheikai. So again, we're living in days of electricity, and we have the torch on our mobile phones and things like that. But back in the day, everyone would have their own little lanterns to walk around with. So ner b'toich cheikai, if a person's got his own personal lamp, or b'toich panos, which is like his own lantern, Pirush klisha nosim b'haner shel. Imagine like a little metal container with holes in it, and you've got some oil lamp inside it. Or it's got glass around the lantern so it can illuminate further. Roya es hashalheves, and you can see the flame. But it's not. You can't use the light. It's not illuminating. Or or it's illuminating, but you can't see the shalheves. Then ein mevarchin oleh. Ad royas hashalheves or mishtamish la'ira. You can only use it for Havdala if you can see the flame and it's you can benefit from it because it's illuminating. Says the Mishnah in Brura ner b'tei cheikai hainu shehoises tumuna b'tei cheikai. That it's his own personal lamp. It's sort of hidden in his chest. Ve'ena royas shalheves v'lein mishtamish la'ira. You can't see the flame because it's sort of hidden away. V'chein ponos ki agavna, so to a lantern in this way. You know, it's got metal with tiny little holes in it. V'hodam meisif aspaklaria da'af al pishu re'es ha'ar derech aspaklaria. Even if there's like a glass around it and you can see the flame, mikol makom lo mikri zeh ri'eh mamish le'inyan birchas berem ha'oish t'boinen she'eh ha'ar megula. It's got to be an exposed flame. However, it's a metal one. And it's got holes in it. You can't see the flame clearly. If it's a clear glass sort of cover around it, that's called seeing the flame. And in that situation, if you've got a lantern where the flame is clearly visible and it's illuminating, then that would be okay. That one shouldn't be making, you should see a proper flame, not behind a glass or anything like that. For example, you can't get the benefit directly because the flame, the candle is too far away, and it doesn't give enough illumination that you can differentiate between coins. You're standing on the side and therefore you can't see it. Okay, that is the end of Reish Ches Tzadi and the Havdala candle.